Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today I'm going to quickly talk about a free software project I've been working on that's called Munin, also known as Identity, with the goal of supporting dementia care, palliative care, and in general trying to improve the healthcare system. So first of all, a bit about me. I'm Sofía Aritz. I'm one of the Youth Hacking for Freedom 2024 winners, which is a programming competition that the FSFE organizes for teenagers. And I've been a free software advocate for as long as I can remember. And I've always been interested in interoperability, decentralization, and I always try to implement these core concepts into the projects I work on. So, what's Munin? Munin is a platform that helps you store your personal heritage. We'll get more into what that means later, with the premise that only you can access those memories, but you're also able to establish some trustees who might access your memories or a subset of them under your own terms so that they can be integrated into things like palliative or dementia care. So what's personal heritage? Personal heritage is the collection of memories, experiences, moments that make up your life, that make up who you are. All of these different kinds of items that compose your personal heritage have four things in common. All of them have some actions. For example, right now I'm giving a talk. They have a context. I'm in Brno, in DevConf 2025. You have a relationship with them. For example, I'm excited and I'm happy about being able to give this talk. And then there's some sensory details, which might be, for example, pictures of this happening, the slides, the recording that's taking place, all of these things. Different kinds of things have different focus. For example, if you're trying to store data related to a place, you're more interested, for example, in where is this place. If you're trying to store data about an event that takes place, you are more interested in with whom did you speak with, what conversations did you have, to which talks did you go to. If you are, for example, storing data about a song, you're more interested in about who does this song remind you of, or what do you feel when you are listening to this song? So now you might be wondering, how is this useful? What can we use this for? Storing your personal heritage is something that allows you to first reflect on key moments in your life, nothing new. Diaries have been around since forever. And it also allows you to explore your memories in a well-organized way. So far, nothing new. But here's where the trustee system takes the role. Munin allows your trustees to access this subset of information so that you can enhance medical care for conditions such as dementia, integrate your memories into palliative care, but there's an unlimited number of use cases, both in healthcare, outside of healthcare, that we can come up with and start brainstorming. So for example, if we were talking about what's taking place right here, DevConf, then there will be the actions like I just mentioned about attending and hosting this workshop, the workshop yesterday, analyzing about the context around this and the relationship I have with this. So for example, the whole idea of Munin is that you can store this data in a structured way so that you later can analyze it and integrate it into other systems. So for example, even though this event entry kind is a bit bare bones, we already have a feelings section where you can select your feelings and later filter through them so that you can generate subsets and all of these things. So this is what allows you to explore your memories in a well-organized way. Let's put the example of dementia care, which is what I've been talking about for a while. If this... Okay. So, there's been studies that have shown that music therapy intervention that is integrating music into some kind of therapeutical context with biographical relevance, so that it's not just any song, but some song that is specifically tailored to you, that has been part of your childhood, of your adulthood, of any kind of part of your life, improves the well-being of the patients. And some even suggest further improvements, but that's still being debated. So how can Munin help with this? We can, for example, automatically create personalized playlists based on all of the music and album entries with a positive relationship. And you don't need to go and take the last FM or Spotify account of this friend or family member and try to go through their playlist, guessing what this makes them feel, but rather you have this information in one place. So now, with this in mind, you might be wondering, how does this trustee system work? You are saying that I can allow access to some subset of memories under certain circumstances, right? So what we want is to have a contract. This is a contract that you are saying, okay, when I end up, if I end up developing dementia or Alzheimer's, or if I die, or if this or that happens to me, I want you to inherit this data. I want you to be able to use this data. Now there's the big question, how do we enforce this contract? And that's what we've been thinking of for the last few 6 months. How can we do this? We've been playing around with some central authorities, with manual reviewers, some kind of re-encryption of a subset of data, and then the encryption keys get sent out and everything. But this is an unsolved problem, sadly, because what we're trying to do is bridge the real world with the technological world, and that's a very difficult thing to do. So something that we've been exploring has been talking with some healthcare institutions, mostly in southern Spain, and seeing how governments do interoperability so that we can, for example, establish a central authority that you may allow some kind of access that they can say, okay, indeed this person has developed dementia. So in this contract, you will have this central authority being able to say, okay, now this contract is into place because this person trusts us to establish this condition, and indeed, this has happened. Now you have access to this subset of data. But as I've said, this is an unresolved problem that we're still working on it, and we'd love to have you as someone who may help us. So if you think this project could really make a difference and improve the healthcare system and improve the lives of the people, and if you know or have been trying to bridge tech and the real world, or if you have any interest in decentralization, federation, all of these things, then I'd love to talk with you, and I'd love to see what are your thoughts on this so that we hopefully can make the world a better place step by step. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question too. You said it's like, you don't have to go through Spotify or lots of them playlists, but it feels like that's where people would kind of record this information about, do I like the song, do I not like the song, by just clicking thumbs up or thumb down. So what makes you think that people will actually want to use some other application or some other system to record only the feelings and all these things separately from what they are actually already using, or what is the solution to that?
So, okay, why will people find this valuable when they already are able to on other platforms, just like a song, and not have to go through the hassle of going to another platform and establishing and everything? I have two thoughts on this. First, these kind of platforms, like for example Spotify, you can only say I like or I don't like a song. when there's more nuance to this. There's a song, you may think of someone, you may think of some place, so this kind of nuance is not registered. And on the other hand, you don't necessarily need to go out of the platform. You may integrate Spotify, Last.fm, Libre.fm into Munin so that this data gets automatically pulled through, and you just have to, if you want, add an additional metadata on top of this, explaining what does this make you feel, what person comes to mind when you are thinking of this song, which places come to mind when you're doing this. So I think that will be my answer. Yeah. Questions? Yeah?
So, first of all, this is super cool.
Thank you.
And setting that aside, I don't say this often, but this looks like a perfect application for language models because of the data entry. Because it sounds to me like entering all that stuff manually is rather tedious, right? And you would end up just not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Selecting, but it would be much easier to say, well, today was a beautiful day, I did this, I heard this song, and have something else translated into the whatever the database is showing.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, have you thought about it, or have you any plan to integrate this with LLMs, or do you think it's a bad idea?
Yeah. So whether have I thought of integrating LLMs into this system to improve the data entry and the recording of the feelings and all of this. I have done some experiments with machine learning. Within the scope of this project, there's also a smaller project that's more of a sandbox to try out experiments. So I have done some work with machine learning, mostly with the focus of you being able to write down your thoughts and from that being able to suggest which feelings that this evoke. But I have not yet explored this idea further, but it's something that I will be open to trying out. Yeah. I hope that answers. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
First a comment. I also find this amazing.
Thank you.
At the same time, this don't feel like you're kind of reading somebody's diary. Like, I'm not sure if you understand what I'm trying to get at that. And there's one thing that worries me about that. I'm kind of thinking my personal little situations, and it would kind of be like, as a trustee, I imagine very common for you to read a lot of stuff here about you because clearly you're reporting to the person that wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you took into account how that could make the trustee feel about themselves. Like, oh fuck, I got this whole situation wrong like 10 years ago or something like that. And how, I don't know.
All right.
It's complex, but it's beautiful and interesting. I don't know. I just want
Okay.
to give you a thought of that.
Okay, thank you. So about whether have I thought about how the trustees may feel having access to this data, right? So I think that's a matter of the owner of the data. It's their decision. You are able to share either all of your memories if you want to, or just a subset of them. So I think this is a really personal question. If you want your trustee to know at some point that they fucked up, you're able to. And if you don't want to, then you just don't add it. So I know people that when someone passed away, they gave their diaries to them, and indeed there's a lot of things that they got wrong and everything. But the person who put on their will that they want them to have the diaries had this in mind, and they wanted that to happen. So that's more of a really individual and personal question. And I would say that from a platform level, we just have as much granularity as possible to allow you to add this or not, whether you feel like it. Yeah, I hope that answered. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, so thank you very much.